Hi folks, today we're going to draw a town map. I call it a city map throughout the drawing, but really it's a town map and I'll tell you why in a minute. So what's the problem with drawing cities? They are massive. If you look at the demographics of a city through the Don John website, there's a link to a great document on there which is called Medieval Demographics Made Easy. I'll put a link to that in the description. Anyway, that says that a city should be like 8,000 people or more. So if you imagine that as an amount of houses, if we had about 4 people to a house, that's maybe 2,000 houses you'd have to draw, which is absolutely crazy. I don't think I could fit that on a piece of A4 paper. So in the thing I'm about to draw, I'm going to draw about 100 houses, which is then going to be only about 400 people. So what is that? That's a village. We'll call it a town. I think your players will believe you if you call it a city and it's big enough on the page. So with this, there's nothing more difficult than drawing a few squares, rectangles, circles and some sort of loose curves. That's literally it. You can already draw all of it. You've just got to put it together. I'll put a link below for all the kit I'm using and the finished map so you can have a look. You ready? Of course you are. Let's get on with it.
So first up, we'll sketch out our city upon 3 rises, sort of inspired by Thunder Bluff in World of Warcraft. Each rise will have houses and there'll also be a cavern which will draw separately inside a circle. On each rise I'll sketch in the house shapes, and on this first rise there'll be a pool of water which will sort of flow between each rise via the bridges. On the smallest rise there's going to be a walled keep and the main entrance to the city. In the circle we'll put the details of the underground cavern. Once we've sketched it all out, just grab an 02 micron pen and we'll draw in some of the trees and houses. For the best results, outline your houses with the thicker 02 pen and then move to your 005 pen for the details, and the same goes for the trees. The detail on each house is really easy. I'll zoom in so you can see it. We're just going to make sure each house has a little chimney stack and then a line that denotes the peak of the roof and then some smaller lines to denote the tiles. For the trees, I like to decide where the light's going to come from and add a little more detail on the darker side. So I always have the light coming from the left hand side or the west, so on the eastern side of the trees I'm just going to put that little bit of extra detail in. Then we're going to add some outline for the rise and then work into this with the thinner pen. So we start with the 02 pen and then do the details in the thinner pen. In the caverns, we're going to have some underground pools, plus a few small buildings. This could be an opening to some sort of mega dungeon in your campaign, or it could be the site for a meeting with a strange cult of armpit worshippers. Next we're going to add a little bit of shading. I'm going to use this light grey pen, but you don't need to have this pen. You could use pencil to do this, or the shading really is optional. Next up we'll move on to the next rise. We'll add a bridge between the two and add a little side channel for the water to flow through also. We're going to use the exact same process for the next one, so I'll speed it up. Then when we come to drawing the city walls, I always like to use a ruler for these. I think they turn out a lot better rather than freehanding. The tool I like to use is really handy for a lot of my cartography. It's this kind of set square thing. I'll put a link down below as well. So go ahead and do all the shading again, maybe with pencil, maybe if you've got the grey pen. And then I'm going to use a darker pen again for the walls, but you could use any, just fill it in pencil or put it in black, it really doesn't matter. And I've gone and made the mistake of adding all these grassy tufts down below, and I actually hate them, so I'm going to delete those in Photoshop after I've scanned it.
So there we go, there's our town, city, village, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'd love to see how yours turns out. Show me, tag me on Instagram or send me a link to the picture down below. I'd love to see it, really would. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos in the future. I'll see you next time. Cheers.